Hello, hello. Welcome. Actually, I might just be talking to myself, but nonetheless, Jesus is watching. My thing says one one viewer, but I don't know if that's just YouTube telling me that I'm viewing myself, but well, little icebreaker. Let's see how do I get this whole chapter. Yeah, is that I realized we're always being watched by Christ. Earlier, I was a little bit, face of just reality and the challenge. Normally when I have difficulty with insomnia, I might turn to a porn video, but praise Jesus, I'm a changed person. I didn't do that, and I went to a prayer video instead. Didn't quite solve the issue of sleeping, but I think I need to write a dream with a conscious mind. Okay. All right. So today's devotional is gonna be from Matthew 16, and I'm gonna do a song while you guys are looking up the passage. So Matthew 16. Mostly, I'm gonna center around how Jesus changed Peter's name, because it's gonna tie in a little bit to the message I'm recording later for the channel. All right, let me see if I can link. I'll link a site for the lyrics in case you want to sing along at home or wherever you're watching from. While we do praise hour, I'm thinking about doing instrumental, like not a cappella. I'm not really sure how well it's gonna get picked up on your end, but we can give that a shot. Let's see if this is hello? Okay. Okay. Nice visual effect. My mic sort of blends with my shirt today. All right. So the song is This is the Air I Breathe. Then we can get to Do and Devo because I might, for viewers I seem to have, I might just shorten this to half an hour as opposed to an hour. Liven up the chat, will you? All right. How do I get the This is the end I breathe, your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me, and I'm desperate for you. And I'm lost without you. This the end I breathe. This is the end I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm desperate for you, and I'm lost without you. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me. So I'm going to hit you up for link for those who don't have a Bible to Matthew 16 if you need it. Didn't see the verse of the day yet. Sorry, I'm not really a high energy speaker. Yeah, one interesting thing with the whole video conferencing during COVID is we get to see ourselves. It's not something we would normally do when we're meeting face to face, where you get to see your own expression in your face. But maybe a little bit more expansion on that later. Get my Bible here. Matthew 16. I will read from the same translation I post. Is there a translation on that link? The link is yeah, it just cut off in my stream here, but all right, since we're only one viewer at the moment, and we're maybe gonna do the half an hour version of stream, I'm gonna jump right to Matthew verse 13. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." "What about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, give me a second here, guys. I'm just going to make sure this thing is working. You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Jesus replied, Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, and by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. So, so maybe I am the my only viewership at the moment. 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 Wow, is there some major lag here? Wow, is there some major lag here? All right, so just let me plug in like a pro here to. All right, so just make use of my technology. Give me a second. Let me plug in a pro here to. All right, so just make use of my technology. Give me a second. Let me plug in a pro here to. All right, so just make use of it. Then he ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. Oh, sorry. Back to verse 17, because this is like the key passage. Jesus replied, Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Then he ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. So one thing I really gathered from this passage earlier on the week, and there is a new insight. So Jesus says here, Blessed are you, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. So this whole like Simon, son of Jonah, it's not just like a Jewish traditional, like, you identify somebody by your father, but I think it's also very symbolic, where it's like, oh, you're son of Jonah. Well, ironically, I don't really think it's talking about the Jonah from Jonah and the whale, but in a sense, Peter sort of inherits those sort of doubting God characteristics later on when we get to the crucifixion, and Peter's like denying Jesus 3 times. But also, like, there's the irony here that he's identifying him and also giving sort of like that transition and revelation. So first he's the son of Jonah, which is like the human identification and human identity is like, like I'm son of Adam. Not to necessarily. Actually, yeah, that's sort of but anyways, let's not get into that right now. But I just thinking like it's sort of like the Chronicle of Narnia's series where they call them son of Adam. So it's like, yeah. So first, before, Peter sort of. Well, actually, yeah. Even looking at the Chronicles of Narnia, one of the characters is also named Peter. So maybe that's sort of like some, sort of alluding to such passages like this, right? So. So Peter is always like the headstrong, one where like he's always like, yeah, I'm gonna be gun hole, I want to be leading for Jesus. I want to, and then that's why Jesus was like, well, actually, you're gonna deny me. So that was like, but I think that whole like passion very easily leads off. It can be misled to the wrong direction. So that kind of emotional energy. So I looked up earlier when I have was just like like when I wasn't looking at things I shouldn't be looking at. I looked up what's the biblical word for like anger, like that passage, in your anger do not sin. And apparently it's not really just only talking about that sort of that kind of rage where like you're really upset and you want to break something, you're hot-headed and whatever. But it could be representing like it's like the Greek word for the strongest form of emotional energy, and often anger is actually the one of the strongest emotions that everybody would experience. But of course there's other types of emotional and passions and whatever. And actually I kind of laughed at it because it's spelled as the kind of English pronunciation guide is ORGE. So I was like, oh, I guess it's pronounced orgy. Well, I don't know. I gotta ask my friends who know some Greek whether how accurate that is. Or maybe there's a website. But anyways, since we're trying to keep this devotion segment to half an hour, I don't know. Actually, probably it says okay. So this clock says 1:50, but my live. Oh yeah, because we started 10 minutes early. As a like I wasn't actually here. Like I was just trying to get people to allow people to join. So I still have some time for this devotional. Yeah, so I think like a lot of the times I sort of relate to that, right? I sort of see my identities, and I draw my energy sometimes from the fact that I was also the son of Adam, and my dad was not necessarily the best role model before he died. And a lot of what the reason why I act extremely sometimes, because I want to accomplish a lot of things that he didn't accomplish. So I have that like drive, that orgy, or what, or whatever that Greek word for anger. Uh, let's just stick with orgy for now, because I'm not gonna go off on a tangent to look up the proper pronunciation. Let's see if I can find one online. But besides, I'm a firm believer in holy laughter, anyway. So in your orgy, do not sin. Oh, it's kind of hard. So like I think like I think like that also would be you know relevant and prescriptive to Peter's denial of Jesus. Because he was he was obviously feeling like, I guess, maybe distress or whole mix of emotions when like they had Jesus on trial, and he's like, oh, maybe some anxiety, somewhere. And I'm sure like a lot of us right now, we're feeling something, throughout the season, or for maybe some days more than others. And I think we get into um that mixture where we're just like, we don't really we we're lost, and we don't really know what to do. Yeah, okay, I kind of dropped out that from my own viewership here. I'll go back in and check the sound from time to time. All right, so back on the topic. We kind of get into that, that mode, right, where we're emotional. And I think that happened to Peter. But unfortunately, we all know that he denied Jesus. And hey, oh wait, okay. So uh I thought I had dropped out on my phone, and then I saw the viewership go up to 2 for a split second. So I was like a bit enthusiastic that maybe we had somebody joining, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe there was just a delay. I'll try to get my phone back in for a second here. Yeah, it's back to 2 now. So yeah, we get into that really emotional state, and I think we often in in the like these moments of like weakness, because we have like these you know these human emotions that can be both like a source of strength and weakness. But like even when we're strong, um sort of like when King David had all the authority of being the king for the Israelites. And we all know, and for those who know about the adultery of Bathsheba, which he's well known for, um, you know, we could be in a strong emotional state, and we think, we're a little bit more like, maybe not distressed, we're like passionate or whatever. And like, sometimes we can still, oops, use my keyboard to just type. Sorry, got distracted. This is like a first time experience for me to do this live thing, so it's might take a little while for me to hello. I'm not okay. Hi. I guess I'm the only one talking about the chat. So anyways, we got 4 minutes before we move into recording of this week's message on the church life. So it's going to be a live recording for anybody watching, and that could be somebody watching. So to close off what I was saying, so as Peter, so for if you're just tuning in now, you sort of missed my announcement that due to low viewership, I'm gonna, for the time being, consider compressing the first few items on the schedule. So originally you might have saw devotion was gonna go till 2:30, but it's gonna go to like roughly 2:00 for now, because it doesn't seem like we're drawing a lot of interest, right? So this is like an interactive experience, guys. You guys can like type stuff in the chat. If that if that number 2 is not just my phone lagging, thinking I'm still logged in, and I'm still just talking to myself and Jesus, obviously. Alrighty. All right. Where was the? So back to Peter being the son of Jonah. It's that's his human identity, but then Jesus says, "And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." So I thought it was like, and I'll expand on this more later. It's sort of a bit of irony. It's like Peter's a rock, he's solid, and really, the guy who denies Jesus later on. But actually, you can't just look at one example, right, and just like rule out, like and I think that's great that God loves us like that. He doesn't just be like, oh, you screwed up, now you're like, you're sand, right, or like you're mud, you're not rock anymore, it's like. And I think that's the voice of the enemy. I don't think that's the voice of God. God loves us. He's not going to say that because of that one thing that you have done, that God's gonna like totally abandon his mission for you. And I think that's why he says here, like, this in verse, go back to 17, this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. So as well, he's now changing the household. Instead of son of Jonah, it's like, I will build my church, like as later, or previously. Sorry, this is like just devotional, so I didn't really do a lot of background research on like the message I'm recording later. So it's sort of like going back to like when he says like, when Jesus is at the temple, is like, this is supposed to be a house of, my Father's house is a house of prayer, but ye have turned it into a den of robbers. He refers to the place of worship where we're supposed to worship God as being the my Father's house. So obviously, like, I tie that into this 18 here, where it says my church is like the Father's house. So this is kind of the whole identity change of Peter going from, my phone is charging. I can't see myself anymore. Peter being son of Jonah to now the son of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So yeah, maybe I will do if I have time throughout this semester to keep this up. One of the series upcoming, we could do the Trinity, because I think it's a good one as well. All right, so it's 2 o'clock. If there's any song requests, type it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna. And yeah, so there will be like some time for like a song request free for all. Like it doesn't have to be a worship song. I guess we can start that right now if you want. There's a song request. Or even if you don't like my voice, I can play it. You just type in the chat. I'll play. I'll see if I can stream or like another video into my stream, because I'm experimenting for this for the first time. So let's learn about this together. And again, I think that 1 or 2 viewership was just me again. So doesn't seem like any of you are very talkative. All right. I always thought that YouTube would show me who's actually viewing my thing, so I can just verify if that's me or not. I don't know. That's not really okay. Well, I guess that's oh. Yeah, the timer stopped. Did we lose the stream, guys? All right, I better log in with my phone and see what's going on here. Hello? 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 Yeah, I think the timer will function. We seem to be okay. Or maybe we're not. It says something went wrong. All right, I'm going to restart the stream, guys.